I was 7 when my mom passed away. I was living in Woodburn at the time with a foster family, and I remember them getting a phone call saying that my mom was in the hospital and that it was pretty serious and that we should come and see her.
When Karina was 7 years old, she was removed from her birth family. Her mother died and her father wasn't able to provide a home for her. So she ended up briefly in foster care and then was adopted by a family in Central Oregon. She had lost all contact with her biological family.
My grandma had just passed away, and then my mom passed away, and then my brother and I were adopted, so it was like one after the other.
After she was adopted, we lost touch with her. We kind of felt like everybody was taken at once.
When she was adopted, her first name was changed at age 7. She never heard anything more about her biological family. So at 16, when kids are looking for identity, she was just kind of adrift. As soon as I read about the case and learned about Karina, I knew I wanted to not just do Family Find, but be her advocate too.
I met Mary through my caseworker. She came to visit me at school one day. We went into this little office and she asked me, how would you feel about finding your biological family? And I said, well, I would be open to it. She said, good, because we already did.
You're appointed by the judge, and your job is to kind of fill in the holes, to make sure DHS is doing their job, to make sure the plans are being followed, make sure that the resources are in place for that child, that the system is working the way it should. Family Find is a program where the goal is that every child in the foster system should leave it with a lifelong connection to a caring adult. So we got information from people who were interested in being part of her life. This is Karina's family that we were able to find. And so she's the yellow square down at the bottom.
That's when I was told about Robin and Lexi, and yeah, so that's really where the whole thing began again, and it was because of Mary.
Well, we found her aunt, Lexi, and in Family Find we have a term, it's called the jackpot connection, and that's the person who feels a connection to the child, who raises their hand and said, I'll be that person. That was Lexi.
And we started texting, and we texted about everything.
I wanted to get to know her again.
Music and favorite colors, art, everything anything you could think of, yeah.
Lexi's my hero. I mean, she stepped up, she opened her heart.
It's my real family. And so I guess I had kind of a deeper connection to them than I would have
with me.
Yeah. Before I got to know them again, I was kind of in a rough place, academically, emotionally, and so I think it was really good for me.
She was doing better in school. She was getting along better at her foster home. She was visiting with Lexi and family, as often as she could. And we know that the strongest predictor of positive outcomes for kids in foster care is a lifelong family connection.
Yeah, Mary she came out of nowhere. My caseworker introduced me to her, and since then she comes all the way from Prineville to visit me.
It just gave her so much more confidence and strength, I think, to know that there were people that, like Lexi, who loved her and would always be there for her.
I wouldn't have her if it wasn't for Mary. I hope that she gets everything she wants. She deserves all the good.
When I was younger, Lilo and Stitch was my favorite Disney movie ever. I got this tattoo of Stitch with my mom. This is in my mom's handwriting. We got that from my grandma's funeral book.
Ohana, which is the Hawaiian word for family. Ohana means family, and family means nobody is left behind and nobody is forgotten. And, Lexi never forgot Karina. Karina's not left behind.